Listen,
You know
James.
why I outlasted you, Rashard? You know why I took your dream? See, some people know how to win. They always win. See, that's me.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't familiar with your story. Your father.
Well, no one really knew my father.
Sounds like he had at least two faces.
And I'm not afraid to kill you.
Before I even get started
Clean
on
that up.
today's
I
video,
want
make sure
shit
you
filed
like,
right
make sure you subscribe. Get on in here. Man, I cannot even wait for summer to be over, to be honest, because this heat is just crazy, man. Like, it's just, I mean, we've been lucky for some days, but I just want my September, October, November, December. Like, let's go, let's go. But for today's topic, is going to be about RSJ and about, you know, some ideas that I had for him, like regarding, like, did he know James St. Patrick, and maybe potentially if he was responsible for, you know, maybe killing James St. Patrick, his father, like maybe he was one of the little gang heads back in the days, you know. But because the thing is about like RSJ, it's more like his character, we don't really know too much about him. And I was thinking too that what if he actually did the whole name change thing, like he actually changed his entire identity and became somebody else, right? Because we seen Jukebox do it, because again, we're still going to be waiting for that Raising Kanan season 3 for us to, you know, learn more things about like Jukebox's life. I mean, we're getting more, we've seen some things, but we need to see more. So in order for her to be like, all right, she changed her name, she became a cop, and this and that. So I was thinking, for RSJ's story, what if he actually did that? Like, what if he done something in his past to, like, you know, to like change his life or whatever? Because there's so many ways you can actually reach to the top and you can get like really successful. I mean, James St. Patrick did it in a way where, you know, he had to become a drug dealer and then eventually owning a nightclub and almost becoming governor of state. So it was just like all these little things that happened in his life, but it makes you wonder, like, the way he was talking with Tariq about, like, you know, oh, the great James St. Patrick, as if he known him. So I'm like, you know, but as I've always said, there could have been things that happened off screen where they could have crossed each other at one point. Like, as I said in the previous video as well, like, what if it was actually, oh, RSJ could have been in a nightclub at one point, or he could have been around or whatever, because he's just like, oh, yeah, like, you know, great James St. Patrick and this and that. So I'm just like, hey, it could be very possible. But the thing is, it's like with RSJ, he did his best not to be caught up in that situation, because even with the whole Ponzi scheme thing, and he was really pissed off about everything that happened with Tariq, where he's just like, yo, I lost money, man. Like, you owe me money. Like, this is crazy. You know, like, I lost money. So even if like RSJ was actually like that type of guy, we haven't fully seen it. Plus, he left the country. So we don't even know if he's actually gonna appear or reappear back in season 4. I hope he does like reappear back in season 4, because then it would show like, okay, what can he do? What more can he do? And will we actually see like a different side from RSJ? Because again, you got this, you know, billionaire guy, and we don't know much about him. But the thing is, with his life, he could have actually been one of these people that he didn't have to go down like the James St. Patrick route. Like, maybe he actually ripped off, maybe he scammed, you know, maybe people from their money. But then again, his character stating that, you know, he worked his way up. But again, he could have skeletons in his closet of how he became successful, and he probably done it in more of a brutal fashion. The way I'm thinking of him, I'm thinking of this character from Billions, like Bobby Axelrod, because Bobby, the way he, you know, did things, it comes off like that just a tad bit. Maybe not arrogant, but just a tad bit of how Bobby done his business, and it makes me think just a little bit of how RSJ, like how he does his business. Because yeah, he wants to remain clean, but it makes you wonder like what skeletons is in his closet. Because if anybody does like a thorough check on RSJ, what if he actually did do the whole swapping the name, like he actually changed his entire identity from the person he used to be to the person that he is? Because like I said before, Jukebox did it, and then Salim did it, where it's just like, oh, like, you're not Salim, you're this guy. You wasn't born, you wasn't like raised in the hood like that. You actually was established in a good home, and you had parents and stuff. So it was just like that. So it makes me wonder if RSJ is actually doing the same thing, where, You know, he probably maybe was potentially responsible for killing Ghost's father. He was probably there, and then he may or may not know a few things about his death, because it seems like it's not a secret at this point that Tariq was the one that done it. So it's just like the way that he's been operating and moving around. It does make you wonder, like, will he actually return in season 4, and will it be the last that we actually see him? So it's all these questions that's kind of like circulating, because again, I know a lot of people are saying that he could have been responsible for killing Ghost's father, and again, we just gonna have to like wait and see all these like potential clues and hints that we're actually gonna get from season 4, because again, that whole business thing between him and Tariq is not really over, because he's like, listen, that whole Ponzi scheme, you was the one that really convinced me that Lucas was a good guy, he was the man for this project. He had my money at heart, and he did not. So it was just like, hey, how he's going to get his money. So if we see like a different side to like RSJ, I'd be down with it. I'd be like really down to like see like, okay, this is billionaire, right? And it has to be in a way that's like different from Noma, where it's just like Noma is the threat, but what is RSJ? Because I mean, his name was referenced when they was actually in Italy, so you can kind of argue that, you know, RSJ's business is not Noma's business, so it's just like it's actually different. So I'm like, okay, it's good, but we don't know what type of man RSJ really is. So until we actually see in like in season 4 or whatever. Now I could be wrong, and many others could be wrong as well, where RSJ could probably just be like some guy that's just, you know, have a sketchy background, but it's not really, you know, worth looking at, right? It could be something like that. It could be not worth looking at. But again, it's just like the way he was going off about, oh yeah, you know, the great James St. Patrick, you know, this and that or whatever. It's just like, did you meet this man? Was y'all friends? Or whatever, like how you really know this man? Like, what's going on? But I mean, hey, it'd be very interesting though. It'd be very interesting, because what if it's what if it's like this too? Like, let's just say like in Raising Kanan or whatever, like in future seasons to come, that Ghost never actually get his revenge on the people that actually killed his father, but later on in the future, he meets RSJ. And, you know, he be like, well, I kind of knew I kind of knew your father and this and that or whatever. But, I mean, at that point, Tariq wouldn't really care, though. He wouldn't care, but it's just like, you know, it would be like a little tad bit if he actually did do it or whatever. But, again, we just going to have to, like, wait and see into, like, the next season or whatever to, like, really digress on who RSJ really is and what type of man he's going to be. Because, again, Tariq is going to need all the financial help at this point. But, I mean, because again, you have like Simon Stern, but it's just like he hasn't been seen this entire season. And then you have RSJ, who has more, I guess not more political power, but has more connections and more money and more power. So, I don't know. But, you know, comment down below on your thoughts on what do you think of like RSJ's like character as a whole. Like, do you believe that his character is a little bit shady? Do you think it's a little bit suspicious? Do you think that there's more deeper connections and roots between like him and Ghost or whatever? Like, you know, off screen, I should say, like really off screen. Like, did they actually know each other? Was he responsible for anything or whatever? You know, because people was always good at like changing their personas, because you've already had like, you know, James St. Patrick, Ghost, and then you had Jukebox, right? And then you had Salim, you know, all these different peoples that actually like they had to change who they were to become something different, right? And we don't know what type of chameleon that RSJ actually is. We don't know what he is. So until we get more information about who he really is, then it'd be like, oh, okay, this guy could be dangerous, or he can actually be the friend that Tariq really needs at the end. But again, we're gonna have to like wait and see until like season 4. But yeah, you know, like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I catch you all in the next one.
I want you in my arms.